Joel Waterman has been the poster boy for a CPL player taking that step to the MLS and thriving. Toronto FC took notice at what CF Montreal did, and they replicated it themselves, signing both Caden Chung and Lucas McNaughton. It begs the question, are the Vancouver Whitecaps missing out on the CPL goldmine? In today's video, we're going to take a look at 3 CPL players each Canadian MLS side should sign, as well as build out a best 11 of active academy graduates. We're going to start with the Vancouver Whitecaps, who, let's face it, has had a disastrous start to the 2022 MLS season. They currently sit dead last in the league and are leaking goals. So the first player we're going to take a look at that could potentially help boost this team is Thomas Meyer-Jaguar. He's had an excellent start to the season with Pacific. He's just getting better and better. He is succeeding on the West Coast, and he's a natural link that the Whitecaps should potentially take a look at. They love playing with the back 3 system. Young Vert's getting a little bit older. He could be a nice player to take a look at going forward and potentially slot into that back 3. Depth is a very important thing to have, which is why the second player we're going to take a look at is Dominic Zator. He is thriving right now at York United. He's really stepped his game up this season as well. And when the Whitecaps play with this back 3, injuries are always on the cards. With the team getting a little bit older, adding a couple center backs could be a solid option for them going forward to add a little bit of stability and potentially give these players an opportunity to take their game to the next level.
As York looks to tie the match, it's not his best delivery, it stays alive. Zator fires, it deflects, and it's in! Dominic Zator has tied the match!
The final player we're going to take a look at for the Whitecaps is going to be Manny Aparicio. He is excelling right now at Pacific. He's found a home in that number 10 role, and he's at the age where he needs to make this type of move. I think he's good enough. He's proven it at Pacific. And if you look at the Vancouver Whitecaps and how they set up in this 3-4-1-2 system, Gold obviously sensational at that number 10, but maybe if they're looking to switch up the shape to a 3-4-2-1, he could be an interesting addition there. He's really ready for this next step in my opinion, and he could be an interesting one because he's already again doing it on the West Coast, and the Whitecaps will definitely keep an eye on Pacific.
Now it's up to Aparicio, has some space through the middle. Diaz into the box, provides the cross, it's headed in, and it's a goal for Pacific FC, and it is Manny Aparicio.
Moving along to TFC now, this one's an interesting one because I didn't really know what to expect from them this season so far. It's a bit of a transition year. They had an okay start, but they've definitely fallen off. And for me, a big issue is simply with their fullbacks. They sold them all and they weren't properly able to replace them, which is why Diadine Abzi is one for me that I think could come in here and absolutely thrive. He really could. He's got a lot of attacking outlets to his game, creative, deadly from set pieces, and he's got that defensive awareness that I think could come in and just solidify that back 3 or back 4 a little bit more for TFC. He'd definitely be the number 1 target for me for TFC in the CPL.
2 passes in transition. Di Rosario alongside Drew Becky, who wastes no time closing down that space. Right, heady play for Abzi! Top right bin and a rocket from Diadine Abzi.
The next player I think Toronto should take a look at is Alessandro Hoja-Rapport. This is a player who, after winning the North Star Shield, I thought should have maybe took a look to take that step to the MLS. He ended up going over to Forge, and I mean, he's been a joy to watch. He's a dynamic player, very good on the ball, and as we can see, he can hit him from distance. I think adding a little bit more mobile of a player to this Toronto midfield can be very helpful. Michael Bradley obviously getting up there with age. You got some youngsters coming up, but I really think this kid is able to really take that step to MLS. I think given the opportunity, he can come into this Toronto side and really make a difference.
Winning the CPL final, to bring them on board, it only adds to the quality that they already had.
First opportunity dealt with! My word, what a rocket! From well outside the box, and he's scoring again at Tim Hortons Field.
The final player I think Toronto should take a look at is Marco Bustos, and anyone who follows the CPL knows that this is the best player in the league. It's as simple as that. He is good enough to play in the MLS, and he hopefully will get that look. Now, if Toronto want to take a look at him, it's because they don't really have that identity yet. They don't know if they want to play with wingers and if they don't. If they decide that they want to play a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, Marco Bustos could be a very deadly option to have on that right-hand side, having young Nelson out on the left, Jimenez up front. He could be a really interesting player to have. Very creative. We've seen the amount of assists that he's racked up this season already. And I think given the opportunity to play with some of these type of players, he could be feeding the striker all day long.
Out to the right now. Short pass back into Diaz, who's in the box. Try to pass back. Now following up is Bustos. Score! Pacific have taken the lead.
The last MLS side we're going to take a look at is CF Montreal, and the first target for me would be Amir Didic. Now, seeing Alistair Johnston playing a little bit more as a right wing back now, and with Rudy Camacho potentially staying for just this season, maybe another season more, it could open up an option to take a look at another center back. They play in that back three system as well. Joel Waterman could slide in there, but looking at that heart, that middle back three, I think Amir Didic is good enough to take this step as well. We saw what he did at FC Edmonton. He's got his move to Pacific, and once again, as most players are doing with Pacific, he's shining. I think if you put him in the middle of that back three, he's a commanding, goal-scoring center back who I think could help Montreal just give that a little extra element that they don't have right now, and I think he'd be a very good player for them to take a look at.
And that's why it's just so critical.
Better ball from Bustos. This time it's Didic! Welcome to Pacific, Amir Didic!
The next player on my list is Isaiah Johnston, and this is a player who I've really enjoyed watching play for York United this season. At the age of 20, there's so much more this player can do. And again, taking a look at CF Montreal's starting 11, they like to play in that 3-4-2-1 system. And we all know that Mihailovic at some point is more than likely going to move on, which opens up an extra dual cam position. And I think if Isaiah Johnston can keep going on the path that he is, he could slide into this role and he could do wonders with the CF Montreal team. He's definitely one to keep an eye on, and hopefully will get his chance in the MLS.
So follows up, lays it off. Ferrari turning, looking for a shooting opportunity. Lays it back. Johnston! And it's the tying goal from York United.
The last player I think that CF Montreal should take a look at is Taron Campbell. Similar to Hoja Rapport after winning the North Star Shield, I thought was going to maybe get some looks at the MLS level. He as well made that move to forward, and he's doing well, scoring goals as you would expect. But looking at CF Montreal after Kyoto, I mean, depending on who there's going to be there next season, there might be an option to have a backup striker role, or if they're looking to play a game with wingers, Taron Campbell can play on both sides, can play as a backup striker or as a dual 9 if they want to do a 3-4-1-2 system. He's an interesting one, and similar to Hoja Rapport, similar to Alistair Johnston, I think given the chance in the MLS, he could be a special player.
Gorgeous. Morgan once again, and acres of space on the left side, crosses, and it's a goal from Taron Campbell.
That was a fantastic goal.
As you guys can see, there is a lot of quality in the CPL right now. Some have already taken the step to the MLS, some are looking to do so. But what's interesting is a lot of these players actually came through some of these MLS academies. So we are going to do an experiment and build best 11s of active academy graduates for these 3 Canadian MLS sides. Starting off with the Vancouver Whitecaps, I've lined them up in a 4-4-2 system. In goal, we have Thomas Hasal, right back Caden Chung, center back Mateo Campagna, center back Matthew Baldissimo, and I know his probably best position would be a CDM, but I really like everything about this guy. He can play as a center back, he can play as a CDM, and he makes my list. Left back Samuel Adekubi, and I'm curious to see if a lot of you guys did know that he played in the Whitecaps Academy, so let me know in the comments if you did know this or if this is news to you. At right mid, we have Marco Bustos, center mid Michael Baldissimo, center mid Russell Tybert, left mid Alphonso Davies, the best player to ever come out of a Canadian academy. Striker Theo Bair, and striker Taron Campbell. The next best 11 we're going to take a look at is Toronto FC, and I've lined them up in a 4-2-3-1 system. In goal, we have Quillen Roberts. At right back, we have Shaquille Marshall-Rudy. At center back, we have Daniel Henry. At center back, we have Luke Singh. Left back, we have Raheem Edwards. Right mid, we have Jaden Nelson. CDM Mark Anthony K, another one similar to Samuel Adekubi. Let me know down in the comments if you knew he came out of Toronto or if this is news to you. CDM Liam Frazier. Left mid Jacob Schaffelberg. Center attacking mid Jonathan Azorio. Striker Ao Akinola. The final best 11 we're going to build is for CF Montreal, and it's going to be in a 4-4-1-1 system. In goal, Maxime Crépeau. Right back, Clément Bahia. Center back, Karifa Yao. Center back, Thomas Meyer-Jaguar. Left back, Max Tissot. Right mid, David Chouanier. Center mid, Ismail Kone, who has made his debut for the Canadian men's national team already after becoming an impact player for CF Montreal. Center mid, Rida Zohir. Left mid, Matthew Chouanier. Center forward, Balu Tabla. Striker, Anthony Jackson Hamel. In the comments, guys, let me know if there was a mini round robin tournament between these best 11s, which one would come out on top, and as well as let me know which CPL players you think these MLS sides should target. That's all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, as always, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub as well, because we are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. So if you want to help us get there, dropping a sub will definitely do that. Also, be sure to subscribe over to One Soccer for all things Canadian soccer. It's the best place to get that. And until next time, guys, take care, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers, friends.